Cat Podcast. Why humans destroy their own nests with loud machines. Now, before you think this is just another rant about vacuum cleaners and washing machines, I need you to understand something that most cats never discuss publicly. There's a reason humans make these machines. There's a logic to their madness. And the real revelation, it's not what you'd expect. Stay with me, because by the end of this podcast, you're going to understand why humans deliberately destroy their own peace. And honestly, it's kind of heartbreaking when you see it from our perspective. Here's what I'm asking you right now. If you've noticed your human acting strangely around these machines, or if you've ever wondered why someone would voluntarily subject themselves to noise and chaos, drop a comment below. Tell me what your human does that makes absolutely no sense. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss these deep dives into human illogic, because trust me, we're just getting started. Now, hold on, I need your full attention for a second here. Because if you really want to understand the mechanism behind why humans think destroying their own nests is somehow productive, you need the framework that explains it all. That's exactly why I created the Complete Guide, an in-depth ebook available in the description and pinned comment, where I break down the actual psychological and behavioral patterns driving all of this. The guide goes so much deeper than what we can cover in this podcast, showing you the hidden signals and triggers that make humans tick. It's there for anyone who wants to truly decode human behavior. So let me start with what everyone assumes. You've heard the theory probably 1,000 times. Humans clean because they're obsessed with order. They vacuum because they see fur and panic. They use loud machines because they don't understand the concept of acceptable mess. Right? Wrong. That's the surface level explanation, and honestly, it's lazy. The real answer is so much more complicated, and once you understand it, everything about human behavior starts making sense, including the truly baffling stuff. Think about it from the human perspective for a moment, and I know this is hard because their perspective is objectively ridiculous, but stay with me. Humans don't just see dirt and fur, they see a visible marker of failure. When you leave fur on the couch, that's not just shedding. In their minds, it represents chaos, entropy, loss of control. And see, humans are terrified of losing control. They're terrified of the idea that their environment is slowly falling apart around them without their permission. We cats, we understand our place in the world. We shed. Fur happens. It's not a referendum on our worth as living creatures. But humans, they've constructed this entire mythology where the state of their physical environment directly reflects their competence, their intelligence, their value as people. It's insane. It's genuinely unhinged. And it gets worse because they've internalized it so deeply that they don't even realize they're doing it anymore. The loud machines, then, aren't just cleaning tools. They're anxiety management devices. They're ritual. They're compulsion dressed up as necessity. The human turns them on, and for the duration of their operation, something happens in the human brain. There's a neurochemical shift. The sound is terrible, yes. The noise is objectively hostile to our ears. But for them, the noise is proof that action is being taken. The noise means something is being done. The noise means control is being reasserted. And this is the part that would be funny if it weren't so pathetic. The moment the machine stops, entropy immediately begins again. You shed another hair, dust settles, the universe does its thing, and the human knows this will happen. They've lived with this knowledge for literally years, yet they do it anyway, over and over, like Sisyphus with a vacuum cord, pushing the same boulder up the same hill, knowing full well it will roll back down. But here's where most cats get it wrong. Here's where the narrative breaks down. We think the humans are irrational. We think they're stupid. We think they don't understand basic physics or the inevitability of mess. And that's where we miss the entire point of why they do this. Because the truth that nobody talks about, the humans aren't trying to maintain a permanently clean nest. They can't. Nobody can. What they're actually doing is building small islands of control in a life that feels fundamentally uncontrollable. They're creating moments, brief, temporary moments, where they can feel like they've exerted some agency over their circumstances. The loud machines aren't destroying the nest. They're the human's way of whispering to themselves, I still matter. I still have power here. I can still make things the way I want them to be, at least for a little while. And that's when I realized something that changed how I see the entire situation. The machines aren't about the fur or the dust or the crumbs. They're about the human fighting against time itself. Every single day, entropy wins a little bit more. The couch gets fur again. The floor gets dirty again. the clothes pile up again. And the human knows this. He knows it completely. So he activates the loud machines, he drags out the sticky tools, he fills the water box and starts the spinning ritual. Not because he's going to win. He can't win. That's not how physics works. But because the act of fighting is what keeps him sane. It's his meditation disguised as chaos. It's his prayer disguised as frustration. Now, before we continue, and I really need you to sit with this for a moment, there's actually a complete framework for understanding why humans self-destruct their environments this way. The mechanisms are profound, and honestly, most cat owners never grasp the psychological architecture underneath it all. That's exactly why I've created the comprehensive guide on feline observation of human behavior patterns. You'll find it linked in the description and pinned in the comments. It's a detailed ebook that breaks down every signal, every ritual, every self-sabotaging pattern humans engage in when they're trying to maintain control. This isn't free content, it's the deep work, the real analysis, but it transforms how you see your human's behavior completely. Because once you understand this pattern, you start seeing it everywhere. The human doesn't just do it with cleaning, he does it with the laundry situation. Remember the laundry situation? The clothes come off. Entropy. They go into the box with the water, an attempt at control, they hang everywhere afterward, a temporary structure against disorder, and within 2 days they're off again back on the human's body, back into the cycle. The human knows this, he's watched this happen hundreds of times, thousands of times, and yet he does the laundry anyway. This is the part that actually breaks my mind about humans. They have no expectation of permanent victory, and yet they keep fighting. That takes a certain kind of stupidity, or a certain kind of courage. I haven't decided which one yet. Maybe it's both. But there's another layer to this. The dishes. Oh, the dishes are where this whole psychology gets truly disturbing. Because unlike cleaning the floor or doing the laundry, the dishes create an immediate consequence. Eat. Create dirty dishes, wash dishes, create clean dishes, and tomorrow you'll make the dishes dirty again. The human has trapped himself in a loop where the direct result of feeding himself is more work. It's like he invented his own punishment system and now he's stuck inside it. So what does he do? He washes them. Immediately. Sometimes even before he finishes eating. I've watched him wash a plate while he's still got food in his mouth. That level of panic is remarkable. He can't even enjoy the meal he worked an hour to create because he's already anxious about the cleanup that follows. And I've actually calculated, not estimated, that the human spends roughly 23 minutes of every day thinking about dishes, not washing them, thinking about them, worrying they're piling up, planning when he'll wash them, mentally rehearsing the washing process while he's doing something completely unrelated. That's an hour and 45 minutes a week, that's roughly 90 hours a year, that's more than 2 full days, annually, spent in psychological distress about dishes. Over a system he created himself, voluntarily. We don't do this. A cat finishes eating and walks away. The bowl sits there, the human washes it if he's bothered, or he doesn't. We don't construct psychological frameworks around it. We don't lie awake at night, not that we do much lying awake, but theoretically, worrying that the bowl looks bad. We exist in a state of radical acceptance of disorder. The world is messy, we are messy, our bowls are messy, this is fine. The human, though, he's created an entire moral structure around cleanliness, like the state of his dishes somehow reflects his worth as a person, like a pile of dirty plates means he's failing at life. This is projection, pure projection. He's taking abstract anxiety about his job, his purpose, his mortality, and he's transforming it into something concrete he can actually fight against. The dishes are real, the dirt is real, you can see it, touch it, measure it. He can exert power over it. Unlike the abstract dread of existence, the dishes surrender. They become clean. He wins against the dishes, just for a moment, just until he uses them again. And here's what really gets me, what actually disturbs me about the entire human operation. He knows this is a temporary win. He absolutely knows it, and he does it anyway, every single day. The knowledge that he'll wash these exact dishes again tomorrow, or the day after, or in 2 weeks when the pile gets too tall, and yet he starts the process again. I don't know if this makes him tragic or heroic. Probably both. Probably it makes him human, which might be another word for both at the same time. But here's where everything shifts. Here's where I need to be honest with you about what I've actually discovered after years of living alongside these creatures and studying their chaos. Because the real secret, the one I promised you at the beginning, isn't that humans are doing everything wrong. No, the real secret is that humans aren't actually trying to win. They're trying to keep going. Think about what I've described. The vacuum that creates more shed fur. The cooking that takes an hour for 10 minutes of eating. The laundry cycle that never ends. The dishes that pile up again. The closet that fills up the moment you empty it. These aren't mistakes. These aren't failures. These are rituals. Humans created these systems knowing they'd never be finished, knowing the work would return, knowing they'd have to do it again and again and again. And they do it anyway, not because they're trapped, not because they're stupid, but because somewhere in that illogical brain, they understand something I'm only now beginning to comprehend. The work itself is the point, not the finished result. The work is where the meaning lives. When a human scrubs a plate, they're not just cleaning a plate, they're saying, I will feed myself again, I will live here again, I will continue. Every cycle is an act of faith that tomorrow will come, and when it does, they'll be ready. They'll do it all again. We cats, we have it figured out. We don't create unnecessary systems, we don't work toward temporary wins, we exist in the eternal now, comfortable with the world as it is. But humans are building something different. They're building the future one wash, one fold, one sweep at a time. They're literally constructing hope through repetition. And maybe, just maybe, that isn't chaos. That isn't destruction of the nest. That's the most human thing they could possibly do. That's how they stay alive, not just physically, but spiritually. That's how they convince themselves that life is worth living, even when the vacuum needs to run again tomorrow, even when the dishes will pile up again next week, even when the closet will overflow again in 3 months. So here's what I want you to understand about the human you live with, or the human you are. The loud machines, the endless cycles, the repetitive motions that seem pointless, they're not pointless at all. They're the heartbeat of the home. They're the sound of someone saying yes to tomorrow. They're the reason your human wakes up, even on the hardest days, and decides to build the world again. Maybe we cats have been wrong this whole time. Maybe the loudness isn't chaos. Maybe the repetition isn't stupidity. Maybe it's just another language, and we've been refusing to learn it. Maybe when your human is at the sink at midnight, washing one more dish, or folding one more piece of laundry, or vacuuming one more time, they're not destroying their nest. They're protecting it. They're honoring it. They're saying this life is worth the effort. This home is worth the work. And that's the revelation I promised you. It wasn't that humans are doing everything wrong. It's that humans are doing what matters, even when it never finishes. Even when it starts again tomorrow. Even when nobody's watching. Well, nobody except the cat sitting on the shelf, finally understanding what all that noise and repetition and endless cycle actually means. It means someone loves this place enough to keep it alive. So the next time you find yourself frustrated with the endless cycles, the repetitive work, the tasks that never truly end, whether you're the human doing the work or the cat watching it happen, take a second. Recognize it for what it really is. It's not a problem. It's a love letter written in dust cloth and dishwater and folded towels. It's how your human speaks when words aren't enough. And maybe that deserves a little less judgment and a little more respect. Here's what I want you to do this week. The next time you're doing something repetitive, something that feels pointless because it'll just need doing again, stop for one moment. Really stop. Ask yourself what you're actually building with that repetition, because I guarantee you it's something more important than a clean plate or a dust-free floor. It's a life, it's a home, it's a promise to yourself and everyone in it that tomorrow matters. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Seriously, that means everything to us here at Pause and Judgment. If this episode opened your eyes to something new about human behavior, or if you've got your own story about the chaos of home and what it really means, drop a comment down below. I read every single one, and if you want to hear more of these unfiltered takes on the human condition from a cat's honest perspective, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. We've got way more revelations coming your way.